It was May 2018. I was on a pan-US trip, as part of which I was giving super positivity talks across all 50 states of the US. One day I was at the Randolph School in Huntsville, Alabama. During the talk, I asked the students, who has inspired you the most in life? Michael Phelps was the first name that came up. One of the students said, do you know he has won as many or more Olympic medals than 160 countries? Later that evening, I did some research and I found out that India happened to be one of those 160 countries. I was shocked. A single athlete has won as many Olympic medals as an entire nation of over 1 billion people. But because I was on the path of super positivity, I challenged myself to look for the positive even in that statistic. And organically, my embarrassment turned into an epiphany. I realized that it's so easy to sneer at someone's mediocrity, but so much more fulfilling, so much better to cheer for their excellence, to contribute to it. I resolved to be that person. A few months later, I returned to India, determined to heighten and to elevate its Olympic aspiration and its performance. Now on paper, it sounded like an initiative that was suffused with humongous possibility, but on ground, it was loaded with a massive limitation. I had zero sporting credentials or connections. And I was going to be based out of the small town of Jammu, far removed from Olympic glory. I was someone who had never played any competitive sport in his life. I was neither a coach, nor an administrator, or even a psychologist. In lay terms, I was a commoner. A faceless name in a land of 1.4 billion. I anticipated the number one question I would be asked. What sporting specialization do you have? Anyway, I was talking not about a group of hobbyists, but about elite athletes who were at the very top of the pack. What was I bringing on the table that even these elite athletes would need? What was I offering that even a world champion would want? I ruminated on that question for many days, putting my sporting wherewithal to an intense scrutiny. One evening, while taking a walk, the answer, or rather an epiphany, occurred to me. I realized that I had indeed been playing a sport all my life. A sport that was the foundation of all sport. A sport from which every organized human activity has emerged. A sport from which civilization, in fact, has emerged. A sport that is as old as the cosmos, and that is the sport of goals. And the one who plays that sport is the athlete of goals, Goalete. That's what I was, and that's what I was going to inspire all our athletes and everybody in the sporting ecosystem and elsewhere to become. Athlete of goals. Goalete is an amalgamation of two words, goal and athlete. So a goalete is an athlete of goals. Someone who sets and accomplishes positive goals while playing them joyfully like a sport. I drew a list of all the goals that I'd set and accomplished over the past 3 decades. I'd been a school topper. I was the podium finisher at the biggest male modeling pageant in India. I had written 30 books on motivation. I had created scores of Guinness World Records. And I'd even written, directed, produced, and acted in a mainstream Bollywood movie, among many other goals. So I realized as I looked retrospectively that I had been playing the sport of goals all my life. And I'd been instinctively following a program to reach all those goals to manifestation. Time had now come to share that program with the world. So with a sense of deep passion and commitment, I embarked on my Olympic journey, and I called my program the Goalete Program. While it was initially designed for Olympic athletes, yet the Goalete Program is universal in nature and can be used by any individual or institution anywhere in the world to accomplish their goals. It doesn't matter how impossible your goal sounds. If you learn the Goalete Program and put in the training to master it, you can accomplish any goal, any positive goal in the world. These are the 5 rules of the Goalete Program. Rule number 1, set a positive goal and a time frame. So when I started on my Olympic journey, I took a blank sheet of paper and wrote down, my goal is to help India have its best ever performance at the upcoming Tokyo Olympics. So what I did, I defined my goal clearly, and that goal came with a specific time frame. You know, for anybody who's starting out on their Goalete journey, or perhaps has not really, walked on the path of goals, this is what I encourage you to do. Start small. Take a blank sheet of paper, or on your phone, or desktop, or any device. Write down this question. Question number 1. What is my goal for the next 40 days? Something that you've been wishing for, something you've been aspiring to do. Write it down. It could be you've been wanting to manage your weight. So you could write, my goal, not I want. This is not a wish. So there's a clear, very marked distinction between wish and a goal. So you would not say I want to. You would say my goal is to reduce 5 kilos or 11 pounds over the next 40 days. So what you're doing is you're observing rule number 1 of the Goalete Program. You're planting the seed. This will take you to rule number 2. And that is sacrifice a weakness or a temptation and connect it with your goal. We often don't realize that the biggest weight we bear in life is the weight of our own weaknesses. They're like gravity that pulls us down. The more weaknesses you give up, the lighter you become. And the lighter you become, the higher you go in life. Simple. So, what I did for my Olympic goal was, I looked at myself, what are my weaknesses? Major weaknesses. Now, I'm somebody who hasn't smoked or drunk alcohol in his life. I don't crave for sweets, so I don't have much by way of addiction, or so I thought. The deeper I dug, I realized that I have wheat addiction, that I'm addicted to wheat. Coming from North India, rotis and paranthas have been our staple diet, and I crave for them at every meal. So to me, a meal wasn't complete if it didn't come replete with lots of rotis. And I said, this is an addiction. If I can give this up, I will stay steadfast on my goal. Every Goalete's journey is unique. Your goal is unique. Your weaknesses are unique. Your weaknesses are your weaknesses. I gave up mine. I encourage you to do the same. So write down question number 2. And that is, what weakness or temptation am I going to give up for my goal for the next 40 days? Yours could be social media, could be sweets, could be coffee, or could be anger. Challenge yourself. Can I give this up for 40 days? Seems like a very small thing, but trust me, this is going to give you the focus and the resilience, the perseverance, the willpower to manifest your goal. You're going to need it. This brings us to rule number 3, and that is train intensely and try to improve every day. Training is the fuel that drives the engine of every goal. Now, the amount of training that you do will be driven by your goal. If it's a massive goal, of course you'll have to train massively. If you want to win the Olympic gold, the athletes that I work with, They've been training for years, for hours on end. The most high quality, intense training there is. But let's say if your goal is to knock off, as we said, 5 kilos, 11 pounds. So resolve that you're going to train qualitatively, intensely, every day on a consistent basis, at least for 40 days. Write down this question. Question number 3 would be, how much training will I do every day to improve over the next 40 days? Again, depending on the size and the scale of your goal, your answer will emerge. In my case, because I was talking about, as I said, a territory that I was completely unfamiliar with, I said that I'm going to train for 10 hours at least every day, because there's so much that I have to catch up on. I got to watch interviews, I got to read books, I got to meet people, I got to visit these camps. At least 10 hours of training, but yours could be 10 minutes, that's fine. But at least intensive, high quality session, one session every day. Brings us to rule number 4. Stay super positive throughout the pursuit of the goal. Just like every mountain that comes with an ascent, every goal comes with a challenge. And along with those challenges come a whole clutch of negative emotions. Disappointment, frustration, anger, fear, doubt. And that is what every goalete has to stay away from and eventually overcome. There are 2 simple tips that I practice to stay super positive for this goal and for all my goals. And that is, first is visualization. I visualize how wonderful it would be to complete the goal. I imagine all the rewards, the fulfillment that would ensue once my goal is completed. And the second thing I do is very simple. I have a 4-word phrase, which I call the super positivity chant. These words are, yes, thank you, universe. I repeat them verbally and silently on a loop thousands of times every day to remind myself how lucky I am. How lucky I am to be able to live such a meaningful life, to be on the path of a positive goal. It doesn't matter if I actually complete that goal, but at least I'm lucky that I have the consciousness, the awareness to follow a positive path, a positive goal. So my gratitude and appreciation for that, the very opportunity. And then I say, yes, thank you, universe, to my ability to manifest that goal, however difficult or impossible it sounds. So your 4th question would be, am I going to stay super positive throughout the pursuit of my goal? I'm hoping that you'll write a yes to that. And if you need help on how to practically do it, I shared these 2 simple tips. You could follow that, or you could create your own. Coming to 5th and the final rule of the Goalete program, complete the goal fully and then embrace a new one. In Hindi, there's a beautiful meaning for the word goal, and that is a circle. Every goal is a circle that is meant to be completed. Not too many people think of goals like that, but I think that's the best definition of a goal. It is a circle that is meant to be completed. It is born because it has to be completed. A circle has to come back to the point from where it started. You have to bring your goal. That's your responsibility to your goal, like you have responsibility to children. Your goals are your children. You have to complete them or try to complete them. So on August 8th, 2021, this is what happened to my Olympic goal. We won 7 medals. My goal was to help India reach its best ever performance at the Olympics. India's previous best was 6 medals at the 2012 London Olympics, and at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics we won 7. One of the athletes that who was the first goalete, I call him after me, Ravi Dahiya. He became India's first male medalist after 9 years, and he won an Olympic silver medal on debut, which is India's best ever performance at the Olympics in wrestling in 125 years. But like I said, the way I look at goals, they have to be in a continuum, like the universe does. It creates one star after another. It creates one species after another, one life form after another. So I've set organically a new goal to keep inspiring Team India to this next goal. Multiple gold medals and 10 plus double-digit overall medals at the upcoming Paris Olympics. Thank you. But this is every goalete's natural path. The moment you accomplish one goal, the new inspiration for another goal autonomously, automatically, organically emerges. So write down your final question, question number 5. Will I complete this goal fully over the next 40 days? And then embrace a new one. Once you do that, that is when you've checked all these 5 boxes, and that's when you've imbibed the Goalete spirit and become a true Goalete. Once you become a Goalete, you follow the Goalete program, you become the athlete of goals. Trust me, every goal is manifestable. I'm standing in front of you, a living example. When I started on my Olympic path, people told me it was an audacious endeavor. It's never going to happen. They're never going to allow you to pull this off. Because if you're familiar with that ecosystem, you would realize that the Olympic program of every country is almost as fiercely guarded as its nuclear program. And anyway, a precedent like this has probably never existed in the world, where a normal citizen of the country, a commoner, has raised their hand and said, I'm going to uplift my country's Olympic performance. People told me it was an impossible goal, but it turned out otherwise. I became a Goalete. And as experience has taught me, once you become a Goalete, everything becomes possible because you are playing your goals joyfully, like a sport. And joy has positive energy in it. So you're not playing your goals clinically, you're playing them joyfully, like an athlete does. And how beautiful life is to be a lifelong athlete, a lifelong Goalete. That's my vision for each one of you. That's what the world needs. Goaletes of hope, Goaletes of spirit, Goaletes of the mind, Goaletes of the heart, Goaletes of the body, Goaletes of government, Goaletes of environment, Goaletes of science, Goaletes of art, Goaletes of music, Goaletes of love, Goaletes of oneness, so that together one day we all collectively accomplish the ultimate goal of universal harmony. And this world becomes the heaven it truly deserves to be. Thank you.